Is that my solo? I'm going to do a solo now? Okay, yeah. You can be seated, please. We're going to do a little singing in a few minutes. I just want to welcome you here to Christmas Unwrapped. And what you're going to find this morning is as some of our folks share their testimony of what Christmas means to them, that they have unwrapped Christmas for themselves, and we hope you join them in unwrapping Christmas for you, whatever that might mean. And so I welcome each and every one of you here at the Unity of Richmond. We are for peace. We stand for peace. We believe in peace, and we seek peace together. And as we do that, we acclaim that we are literally making a change in the world. It doesn't show up in big ways every day, but it is showing up. And it's showing up if you really not listen to just the news. Okay? They're looking at 3% of the people. It's the other 97% we need to be in alignment with. And that works for everybody. So I welcome you here this morning. I know that we're going to celebrate Christmas. I'm going to have a great time with that. And is there anybody here for the first time at Unity Richmond? If you'd raise your hand, we'd appreciate that. Anybody visiting for the first time this morning? All right. There we go. I hope you got, here they come. They're coming right now. Keep your hand up, okay? There you go, sir. Anybody else? That's it, okay? Well, we want to welcome you this morning, okay? Unity of Richmond into this Christmas holiday season. And what we like to share with you is that we know who you are, that you are a child of God. And as a child of God, what you bring to us is your joy and your love and your laughter. And what we hope you receive from us is that peace I was talking about, and also our love and our love of life itself. So thank you for being here. And we hope you will return, okay? Thank you. Well, we have some opportunities we want to share with you. Always we have opportunities. The first one is that in your bulletin there is a poinsettia form where you can fill out the back of it and you can make a contribution for our poinsettias up here. Ronnie Russell's not here at this service, but he's the one who did all of this decorating and keeps moving it around a little bit and keeps it very beautiful and very cheerful, okay? Great tree, yeah. So we're blessed with that. And the next thing coming up is that we at noon today have a Christmas tea. It's $5 per person, and what you get is a wide array of cookies. Now, I just tested one. Well, they begged me. They begged me to test it. Take this one. Take one. Okay. So anyway, I took a little cookie, and let me tell you, you are in a treat when you go downstairs. They are just wonderful and delicious, and please stay for that. Also today, we're going to be unwrapping the gift of the raffle ticket. And so if you have not received a raffle ticket yet, not bought one yet, you can get one for $10. You can get 5 or 6 for $50. And Elsie will be out front there. More than likely, if she's not there, somebody will be at the Christmas tree and take your money for your tickets, okay? We're going to draw at about 1 o'clock today. We're going to draw at about 1 o'clock today. So make sure you get that done. You do not have to be present to win. The next thing coming up is we're going to have a celebration next Sunday. The first service next Sunday, it's only going to be one, at 11 o'clock. We're going to have a communion service. It's going to be very meditative. It's going to be one where we can be contemplating, we can understand and let the Christ be born within ourselves on that special day. Then Christmas Eve, we have our normal Christmas Eve service where we light the candles at the end and, of course, sing Silent Night. I saw a movie the other night, and the woman was singing Silent Night, and people were dancing to it. I'd never seen that before. Of course, I was a Baptist. But, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. I just thought it was really cool. And so anyway, we may not be dancing to it, but we're going to sing it. And then on Monday, Christmas Day, there is a luncheon here at noon. We'll have turkey and ham and all that good stuff. If you are not having company this Christmas Day, if you feel a little lonely and you want to get together with a good group of people, we had about 50 people last year. We hope you'll come out and enjoy it. If you have company, bring them. It's fine, okay? So everybody's welcome to our Christmas luncheon, which takes place at 12 noon on Christmas Day. And it says it right there. Then the next thing is New Year's Eve. That's a Sunday. We're going to have a New Year's Eve service at 11 o'clock. We're going to have the Burning Bowl service at 7 o'clock. Now, if you've never attended a Burning Bowl service, I want to highly recommend it because it's going to start your New Year's off right. It's an opportunity to write a few notes of things that you'd like to discard And we actually have a burning bowl where you drop those notes in and you let go. And then people send a letter to God. You write a letter to God, and you hand it in with your address on it, and the next September or October we'll send it to you. And you can see what's happened for you during the year. And there will be a testimony about that from one individual because they had everything come true and they'd forgotten what they wrote down. Isn't that cool? So things do stay with us, all right? And then that next thing, I don't know what the third one was, but anyway, it was there, okay? What was that? Come back to me, please. Oh, the White Stone Ceremony is on January the 7th, the first Sunday in January. And that's a very special ceremony where you have an opportunity to really contemplate how would you like to show up during the year and write that down on white stone. And we'll explain the significance of the White Stone Ceremony on the 7th of January. So you got to be here to know what's going on, okay? And we invite you to that. And you know, one of the things you ought to put in your letter to God is, I want to be at church as often as possible. See? You think I'm kidding. No, I'm not kidding. No, anyway, and I just hope you'll do that. And usually January is just a great month. And we'll be talking about God and science in the month of January. God and science. It's been a while since we've done that. And then the next thing coming up here is Caritas. We have a big Caritas where we're having families come in. It starts on New Year's Eve and goes through the first week and ends on January 6th. We need volunteers. We need people who can help with the cooking and serving. I think we have all of the cooks lined up, people who are going to take responsibility for that. We need help for people who want to stay overnight, and we need help for breakfast in the morning at 4:30. And a couple of you love that. I don't know what's wrong with you, but you love it, okay? That's when I go to bed. But anyway, the next thing coming up after that is Marianne Williamson. Don't forget, we're only selling the tickets online. There are about 400 tickets left, the last I saw. And usually they sell 50% of all the tickets in the last week beforehand. So my guess is it's going to be sold out. If you want to go online, get your ticket. They're $35. And there are little brochures around here, or you can write it down there. But just go to Eventbrite and look up Marianne Williamson for January the 6th. Not June, right? January the 6th. You don't think I learned, do you? You don't think I learned? I understand. Okay. And please attend that. We're going to have a great time that day. And then the next thing coming up is that Barbara Hess will be having our Unity Prayer class. And that's always a big, big plus. It's a great way to start the year off. It's on Wednesday nights. It starts at 7 o'clock on Wednesday nights, and it starts on January the 10th, I believe it is. So let's just do all those things. And the last thing you've got to do is next week, if you come to church, T through Z, or everybody if you'd like, bring something to eat. And the next week you can bring the leftover turkey. But next week, just bring something to share with people after communion. Thank you. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to get started with Deck the Halls. Remain standing as we pray together. And as we pray together, we affirm that Christmas is a holiday of light, is a holiday of love, is a time that we can experience not only this Christmas, but year-round. We are the manifestation of the Christ. We are the manifestation of all the good that God is. God flows in and through us as divine mind. God creates for us the perfect idea of who and what we truly are. And we are an expression of that perfect idea each and every day as we bless and enfold and honor each person, as we know that each person is divine and growing in their divinity. And so it is. Amen.
I seek both night and day. I pray that Spirit loves me, 'cause I shall see the way.
Oh yeah, candles burning low, lots of mistletoe, lots of snow and ice everywhere we go. The choir singing carols right outside my door. All these things and more. All these things and more. That's what Christmas means to me, my love. Christmas means to me. Oh, yeah. I see your smiling face like I've never seen before. Even though I love you madly, it seems I love you more. The little card you give me will touch my heart for sure. All these things and more, darling. These things and more. And that's what Christmas means to me, my love. What Christmas means to me, my love. I feel like running wild, as anxious as a little child, to greet you 'neath the mistletoe. I kiss you once and then some more, and wish you a Merry Christmas, baby. And such happiness in the coming year. Whoa, let's deck the halls with holly and sing Sweet Silent Night. You fill the tree with angel hair and pretty, pretty lights. You go to sleep and wake up just before daylight. All these things and more, baby. That's what Christmas means to me, my love. Christmas means to me, my love. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Woo!
Thanks, loves.
That's right. That's my intro. All right. I can dig it. Oh, thank you, Katrina. I said from the first service, you're bent on making me cry, so I appreciate making me dance for this service. Yes. So Richard asked the host of us to speak a little bit about what Christmas means to us. So when I kind of went and started contemplating what Christmas means to me, I started thinking about 3 stages of my life where Christmas had very different meanings. The first was as a kid, of course, and it meant all the things that it tends to mean to most Christian children in the U.S. It meant the pageantry of celebrating the birth of Jesus. It meant all of the gift giving and receiving. It meant Santa Claus and lights everywhere. And for me in particular, the smell of balsam fir, like that, just that scent means Christmas to me. But in my house particularly, you knew it was Christmas time when my dad pulled out his Christmas disco album, the Soul Soul Christmas Orchestra Jollies, okay? Now, if you're not familiar with this album, it was just kind of, that beat, that disco beat, you just kind of got into it. And the first song it started off with was a little drummer boy, and it goes, rum-pa-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum, doom-doom-doom-doom, rum-pa-bum-bum. Had that bass beat, oh my God. So that was like the start of the Christmas season in our household. We would start decorating and dancing around the house. We made popcorn balls and wrapped them in cellophane, and we used them as ornaments on our tree. And it was all just pure joy. Christmas morning, of course, was all about Santa bringing my brothers and I gifts. And there was just this giddy anticipation as I snuck downstairs right at dawn before everyone else woke up to see what was waiting for us under the tree and in our stockings, and to see if Santa Claus ate our cookies and our eggnog. He always did. And there was just all this build-up and anticipation. And I think I knew early on, even as a child, that this seemed to parallel the excitement that came along with the birth of Jesus. So that's really what it meant to me. And I loved me some baby Jesus at that time. I love the ritual of telling his story every year. I love the idea that this little baby could have so much power and bring just so much peace and joy to the world. Wasn't really sure how he did that at that time, I think. And I wasn't sure why he needed to do it because my world was full of joy. But it was a very cool notion to me that he could bring that in. So as a young adult, though, I started questioning everything, including my own spirituality. The joy of the season kind of got away from me a bit. I got bogged down in all the consumerism and the messaging that I was getting about what I was expected to do and to give out and dole out during the season. I still love the lights, going to travel in neighborhoods and see all the pageantry around me, and I still can enjoy some of my family's traditions, but being perpetually broke as an educator artist always is, almost always, I quickly became kind of disenchanted with the idea of having to supply gifts to everyone and never really feeling like I was receiving whatever it is that I wanted. And at that time, I couldn't really put my finger on exactly what that was in the first place. Eventually, I started dreading Christmas, and this came right around when my children came along, and it had nothing to do with them, of course. But I was hyper-focused on making the perfect childhood memories for them and going overboard with how many Christmas things we could get done in the season and how many gifts I could supply for them. I eventually just became happy when the season was over. This also happened to coincide with that time where I was really struggling with the messages that were coming out of my church in particular and trying to figure out my spiritual path. I was very involved in this particular church. It was one that could be considered a mega church, so a very large congregation. And Christmas was this monster, huge event that I got myself entangled with, and this actually made things even more stressful for me. So things just started to compound. So instead of a time of peace, for me, Christmas in stage 2 meant being overwhelmed with lots of expectations of me. It had nothing to do with anything spiritual at all for me at that time. So here I am now in what I consider to be my stage 3. And I found this wonderful spiritual home here at Unity and a way of practicing my spirituality that begs of me to be gentle with myself in all areas of my life, and that includes this Christmas season. I can recognize now that gifts don't always have to do, and don't usually even have to do, with actual presents or things that I can hold in my hand, although I do enjoy receiving those presents from time to time and giving them as well. Still start off my Christmas season by putting on my dad's disco Christmas album. The actual record is long gone. We found a CD. I broke the CD. It's on Spotify. I'm good to go. And I'm decorating the house and driving my kids crazy with that music at least twice a week, or 2 or 3 times a day. And most importantly, I can actually get back into the joy of the season and recognizing that this is a time of peace, of coming together with my community, the community of my choosing, to show love, to spend time with them, and to just really be with people that I want to be with. And as I study the metaphysical meaning of Christmas, the idea of a journey that turns into a time of quiet reflection and the birthing of the Christ consciousness within us, that knowledge in and of itself has been such a huge gift to me. So I'm happy to say at this point in time that this is what Christmas means to me right now. Thank you.
Please join us as we sing the first Noel together.
First Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields where they lay, in fields where they lay, keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. They looked up and saw a star shining in the east, beyond them far, and to the earth it gave great light, and so it continued both day and night. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel, and by the light of that same star, 3 wise men came from country far to seek for a king. Was their intent, and to follow the star wherever it went. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel.
Good morning. I want to thank Richard for this opportunity to express my thoughts on what Christmas means to me, as it has helped to bring me to my personal illuminated epiphany, and that is the personal manifestation of the divine and the supernatural within. The first thing that comes to mind about Christmas was at a very young age being fascinated by the shine of the aluminum Christmas tree in the living room. And to this day, I find that the beauty of aluminum trees, no matter how kitsch they may seem, are always nostalgic and lovely to me. Of course, we graduated to the natural arboreal tree and ending with the artificial. But that's okay, because each time I was enamored by the beauty of the lights on the tree. And then when you turn off the room lights and let the colored bulbs on the tree shine, it was indeed a spiritual experience. Is there anyone here who spent time or grew up in suburbia? And if so, do you remember the Luminaries program? That was when you would take a milk gallon jug, cut a hole in the middle, you would put sand in the jug and a candle inside, and you would line up all of these milk gallon jugs with the candle inside alongside your house up to your neighbor's line. And they would continue the tradition. When everyone contributes their time to this process, your whole neighborhood at night is beautiful and ethereal with sparks of light shining throughout the neighborhood, like a seam holding the community together. There were other things like the Nat King Cole Christmas album played every night during those 2 weeks up through New Year's Day, and the serenity it provided as it permeated throughout every room in the house. There was also the time on Christmas morning of 1984 when my father asked me to go downstairs to pick up a screwdriver as he was trying to pry open a gift that a co-worker had brought for him, only to find when I arrived downstairs, there was a 5-piece drum set. Sure, there was food, family, music, but there was also magic. The British anthropologist Edward Tyler categorized magic as beliefs based on the era, a mistaken ideal analogy for real analogy. So for us, coming from Webster's, magic is an extraordinary power or influence seemingly from a supernatural source. Now, isn't it interesting how the root of the word magic happens to be magi? The 3 men who were highly proficient in their skill in interpreting omen, signs, and the stars. And they followed that star as it was recorded in Matthew because they knew, based on past prophecies, that a child had been born, King of the Jews, and they observed his star at his rising. And they followed that star that gave them light. And according to legend, the star led them to the king. Now, the Magi were followers of Zoroastrianism, the belief of the universal, transcendent, supreme God. Fire is important to their cosmology. Fire is sacred. Fire represents the light of God as well as the illuminated mind. So, there is light, the light of the star, which the Magi followed. There is the light of the Christmas tree, the lights on the street, candles on your windowsill, whether they were real or electric, tacky light tours, star of wonder, star of royal beauty, bright as was written by John Henry Hopkins in his song, We Three Kings, a song which is in the key of E minor, which according to the musicologist Christian Schubert, emotes eminent hope of resolution in one's pure happiness. So I spoke of magic and I spoke of light. I spoke of light and magic, both of which bring to mind George Lucas, a man who has created a saga of currently 9 films that touch, among many more issues, Fantasia, forgiveness, hope, and resurrection. These films were produced by a man whose company is named Industrial Light and Magic. There were times when I lost my light and magic. There were times when I was Scrooged, when I was cynical, when I was dark and moaned about the commercialization of the season. I went through my dark night of the soul and found my magic through my illuminated mind as the result of learning of my atonement. We find our magic. We claim our magic when we are at one with the light. 50 years ago in 1967, Stevie Wonder pointed out 5 things he wrote in a song entitled What Christmas Means to Me. Candles burning low, a smiling face, pretty, pretty lights, daylight, lights of nights. So today, as I grow in the light of the Christ consciousness, The iteration that this time of year brings to me is to let my light shine 365 so that all good women and men will see my good works with my good heart. So, love, light, and magic. That is what Christmas means to me. Thank you.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would calm the storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? When you kiss your little baby, you've kissed the face of God. Oh, Mary, did you know? The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb. Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day rule the nations? Did you know that your baby boy was heaven's perfect lamb? That the sleeping child you're holding is the great I am. Thank you.
I'll be fine, thank you. And so, with that, let's move into this opportunity to be in the silence, to meditate together, to experience that baby boy that grew up to bring us a message that we all are the Christ. We all are living in the consciousness because we are all divine. So take a moment to maybe just take anything off your lap, to put your feet on the floor. And as you do, just take your hand and put it over your heart space. And take a nice deep breath. And one more. And as you do that, now go to that place where you remember a time of love, maybe a very special Christmas that you remember, a special event, a special person in your life. Whose character, whose way of being is unconditional love. And now surround yourself with that love. As we start that journey to the within, to that journey where We know the mystical Christ that connects with us as spirit, touches our hearts, explodes the love. And as we do, I ask you this question. Did you know? And do you know that the Jesus Christ consciousness, what Jesus is, did you know that that can smooth any pain, any troubles, any loss? And sometimes at this time of the year, we feel those losses. We feel in such a way that we remember. And as we grow in the Christ consciousness, we remember, but we don't feel the pain. We feel light instead. We remember those times when we struggled. And maybe we still are. But as we do, we continue to go deeper and allow Jesus, the Christ, to join us on our journey, which is always a Christmas journey. For it's in that moment that we feel and experience all that God is. We feel and experience the Christ within ourselves. We feel the light. We feel the love. We feel the joy. And we truly know we are at peace. Yes, Jesus, through his consciousness, demonstrated to us that we also can help heal others, that we also can heal ourselves, that we also can heal nations. We just have to open our minds big enough to absorb that. And so, do you know that Jesus Christ in you is your hope of glory? It is that perfect idea coming from divine mind that expresses itself through you as a child, an emissary, a light of God. And so as we go into the silence for a few moments, just feel and know Christ in you is your hope and the hope of everybody. And so let us remember that we are divine beings spiritual beings, having this spiritual experience in this human condition. We are in charge of our spiritual journey. Whether we journey through the Christian faith, whether we journey through New Thought, whether we journey through the Jewish faith, whether it's through the Buddha or Allah or the Brahma, it's all the same. It is all our hope of glory, to be all we can be and to come together in our oneness, in our beingness, in our uniqueness. And I affirm that is what we are doing, not only in this moment, but as we remember who and what we are. And so now gently come back to this time as we continue to celebrate all the love that God is. Amen.
Growing up, Christmas to me wasn't really about celebrating the birth of Christ or anything that you would think of mainstream Catholicism. I was in this weird gray area of celebrating Hanukkah with my dad's side of the family in Southern California, and then a few weeks later going to my mom's grandparents in Northern New York in Syracuse. And I just lumped all of these feelings and experience together and I lumped these experiences to a feeling rather than a set date. I discovered that Christmas is more of a feeling than any time or any feeling of weather. And while I still prefer Christmas is my favorite feeling, to me it isn't a time of year. Sure, around this time of year, everyone is singing Christmas carols and Santa's giving gifts, and I feel Christmas. But Christmas is too good to confine to this small time for me. I want to give random gifts to my friends in May because I feel like it, the Christmas spirit then. And I want to do a nice deed for someone that is less fortunate than me, just not on Christmas or even on Christmas. Christmas can be different for every individual person. This is the Christmas spirit working with the Christ consciousness. There are several ways to feel the Christ consciousness and the Christmas spirit at the same time. And it is different to every individual. You can feel Christmas in Santa, you can feel it in loving your family, you can feel it in snow, and you can feel it in the Christmas music, and you can just feel it in giving. But to me, it is all about the music. Nothing gets me more in the Christmas spirit than listening to Michael Bublé's album or Elvis Presley singing I'll Have a Blue Christmas. These songs make me feel like nothing else and wake me up to the Christmas spirit, which I sometimes forget to feel. We all sometimes forget the Christmas spirit when it is most important. That is what Christmas is for, waking us up to the train that is never ending, that is life. As we go through the motions, we forget to give, we forget to look around and appreciate the people around us. We forget to appreciate the beautiful Christmas tree and the beautiful smells around us. And we most of all forget to love unconditionally. And life deserves that love and unconditional appreciation. Christmas is that quintessential time to appreciate this amazing life. And I hope you guys will remember to do that too. Thank you.
Do you remember me? I sat upon your knee. I wrote to you with childhood fantasies. I'm all grown up now. Can you still help somehow? I'm not a child, but my heart still can dream. So here's my lifelong wish, my grown-up Christmas list. Not for myself, but for a world in need. No more lives torn apart, and wars would never start, and time would heal all hearts. Every man would have a friend, and right would always win, and love would never end. This is my grown-up Christmas list. What is this illusion called the innocence of youth? Maybe only in our blind belief can we ever find the No more lives torn apart, and wars would never start, and time would heal all hearts. Every man would have a friend, and right would always win, and love would never end. This is my grown-up Christmas list. This is my only lifelong wish. This is my grown-up Christmas list.
When Richard asked me to speak about what Christmas meant to me, I got a little nervous. I didn't know what I was going to say, and I worried about it for like a week and a half. At night, I was dreaming. I came up with all these elaborate things I was going to say. And then the other night, it just came to me. I said, you know, it's not me, but it's the Christ within that does the work. And so I went to bed that night, and when I woke up the next morning, 5 minutes, I wrote down 3 or 4 little things and said, this is what I'm going to say, because I never have a problem with having anything to say anyway. So the first thing that Christmas means to me is hope. When I think of hope, I think about wanting to enjoy the magic feeling, to celebrate the love and the joy of Christ all year. When I was in the store yesterday, I had 3 or 4 people come up to me, hi, how are you? Can I help you find something? And this doesn't happen all year long. So I would love for us to be able to capture that, and it gives me hope. It gives me hope for the future and hope, for peace on earth. Another thing that Christmas means to me is spending time with my friends and family. One of the most special things is the candlelight service here Christmas Eve at Unity. I love listening to the choir and just spending time with the special people in my life. And that reminds me that it's also important because Christmas also means remembering those who came before me and the joys of Christmas past. As I get older, a lot of my family members aren't here anymore. My children are adults, they live away. And so Christmas changed for me. It was no longer the just Christmas tree giving out presents. And so I started new traditions. And the new traditions that I have now is all about giving. I'm into giving things to others. Christmas means to me now helping with the collecting food for the food bank, setting up an angel tree to help others in the community, planning for Caritas coming up in a few weeks, and also the big Christmas dinner that we have that brings people in who may not have any place to go on Christmas. So Christmas to me now is all about giving to others, and I'm grateful for the blessing to be able to be with you today.
So if our ushers would come forward, please. It's that time where we have this opportunity to share of our gifts. And, we've had a great year financially overall. We've been able to tithe on a consistent basis. We have been able to have a November where we ended up in the black for the year. Thank you, God. And I affirm that we will walk into 2018 strong and continue to be prosperous because you make it happen with your gifts and your love and your support of this ministry and what we are sharing with people. So thank you for that. Now please join me as we share together our prosperity blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate together. I am grateful. And you are. Thank you.
When blossoms flowered amid the snows upon a winter night, was born the child, the Christmas rose, the King of love and light. The angels sang, the shepherds sang, the grateful earth rejoiced. And at his blessed birth, the stars their exultation voiced. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Christ the Lord. Again the heart with rapture glows to greet the holy night that gave the world its Christmas rose, its King of love and light. Let every voice acclaim his name, the grateful chorus swell. From paradise to earth he came, that we with him might dwell. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Christ the Lord. Oh, come, let us adore him. Adore him, Christ the Lord. Oh, come. Oh, come, let us adore him. Let us adore him. Christ the